I don't even know how to feel about this right now. You can sense it, right? That tension around this team. That weird mix of hope and anxiety. We all knew change was coming once the word rebuild started getting thrown around. But when the front office starts seriously exploring moves, it hits different. There's something brewing ahead of the March 6th deadline. Something that could quietly reshape this roster more than we expected. And the craziest part? It involves a name I don't think most of us had circled a few months ago. This isn't just about flipping expiring contracts. This feels bigger. It feels like management is testing how bold they're actually willing to be. And if you care about where this team is heading over the next few years, this matters a lot. So, before we dive into it, if you're a real Canucks fan riding this roller coaster with the rest of us, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Canucks Nation Report is brand new. We're pushing for our first 400 subscribers, and this is just fans talking hockey the way it should be. All right, let's talk about what's actually going on. The Canucks have already made it clear they're in a rebuild. When a team publicly admits that, the pressure shifts instantly to the front office. You can't just say you're rebuilding, you have to actually bring in real assets. Draft picks, young pieces, cap flexibility, something that proves there's a plan. And heading into the National Hockey League's trade deadline on Friday, March 6th, the heat is on. We already knew pending unrestricted free agents like Teddy Blueger and Evander Kane were going to draw attention. That part isn't shocking. Expiring contracts are the obvious trade chips. That's standard deadline stuff. But what makes this situation different is what President of Hockey Operations Jim Rutherford said last month. He didn't limit the conversation to expiring deals. He made it very clear. He said they're not going to say no to conversations about any player. That doesn't mean everyone is getting traded, but it means the door is open, and that changes everything. General Manager Patrick Alvin now has some real decisions to make. If this rebuild is going to work, it might mean moving guys who aren't just pieces on a spreadsheet, but guys who are liked in the room. And that's where this unexpected name comes in. Just before Christmas, rumors started circulating that forward Drew O'Connor had quietly been placed on the trade block. And remember, he hasn't even been here that long. Alvin acquired him from the Pittsburgh Penguins less than a year ago. At the time, that move felt like a depth add. Low risk, solid two-way winger. The kind of player you need in a competitive lineup. But now, he's drawing interest around the league. NHL insider David Pagnotta went on Sakari's and Price and said O'Connor has another year left on his contract, has some no-trade protection, and that he believes Vancouver is willing to move him. That's not just speculation from fans. That's coming from someone plugged into league circles. And when you actually look at the numbers, you can see why teams are calling. Through 57 games this season, the 27-year-old has put up 21 points, 13 goals and 8 assists, with 22 penalty minutes and a +3 rating. He's on pace for a new career high in goals. He's under contract for one more year after this season, carrying a $2.5 million cap hit through the 2025 to 2026 campaign. That matters. He's not just a rental. He's cost-controlled. He's productive. He's in his prime. That's attractive. Now here's where it gets really interesting. In a recent piece for Canucks Army, Stefan Roje broke down what kind of return Vancouver could realistically get. And his take was bold, but not crazy. He believes that if the Canucks are willing to retain some of O'Connor's salary, combined with the way he's played this season, they could potentially get a second-round pick in return. A second-round pick. That's significant in a rebuild. Roget basically said when you put it all together, he's not another Sherwood-level piece. But he's close, and that should command at least a second rounder, maybe even a little extra on top if things break right. Now think about that from a front office perspective. If you can flip a winger you acquired less than a year ago for a second-round pick, maybe more, while retaining some salary to sweeten the deal. That's asset management. That's how you build long-term. But from a fan perspective, it's complicated, because O'Connor has actually been useful. He's not just filler. He plays with energy. He's responsible. He's chipped in goals. In a season where consistency has been an issue, he's quietly done his job. And let's not ignore this. Moving someone like him sends a message. It says no one is safe unless they're part of the long-term core. It also opens questions about roster balance. Who fills those minutes? Are we prioritizing development? Are we bracing for short-term pain? And there's another layer here. Rutherford said they may end up saying no to offers. So this could all just be conversations, due diligence, testing the market. But the fact that O'Connor is generating league-wide interest tells you something. Other teams see value. And if Alvin truly wants this rebuild to succeed, he can't get attached to good. He has to aim for great. That sometimes means moving solid players to stack future assets. This is the uncomfortable part of rebuilding. It's not dramatic superstar trades, it's calculated decisions. It's turning middle six production into draft capital. So, what does this mean? It means the Canucks aren't just shopping the obvious names. They're exploring every angle. They're listening on players with term. They're evaluating whether short-term contribution outweighs long-term flexibility. And honestly, that's what a serious rebuild looks like. But it also means the next few weeks could surprise us. If O'Connor gets moved for a second-round pick, especially with retained salary, that's a clear signal this front office is thinking 2, 3, 4 years ahead. If they hold on to him, it likely means the offers weren't strong enough. Either way, the March 6th deadline just got a lot more interesting. And we can't forget there's already pressure building. When you publicly commit to a rebuild, fans expect results. Smart trades, strong returns, a clear direction. This move, or non-move, will say a lot about where management believes this team truly is. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one winger. It's about philosophy. Are we patiently stacking assets, or are we trying to thread the needle between competing and rebuilding? Because you can't do both halfway. We've been stuck in that middle ground before, and it never ends well. If this organization wants a real window again, a legitimate shot, these are the kinds of tough calls that define it. So yeah, this one feels small on the surface, but it might not be. Let me know what you think. Would you move Drew O'Connor for a second-round pick if salary is retained? Or do you think he's exactly the type of piece we should keep around during this transition? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you're riding through this rebuild with us. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Canucks Nation Report. We're brand new. We're chasing our first 400 subscribers. And this channel is for real fans who actually care about where this team is going. Deadline season is heating up. And something tells me this might just be the beginning.